Hi, I'm Nikki, and thank you for joining me for the 4th edition of my Bare Bones Battle Report. Today we're going to be talking about the Taker Tribe, Sons of Behemat, against Darkwalkers, Beasts of Chaos. Now, these Darkwalkers list that I'm going to be going up against is actually one that was brought to the Lone Star Open this past weekend. So this was a chance for my opponent to get a, I guess, competition-wise, to see how well he'd do against Taker Tribe, which actually came in third, I believe, in terms of performance at the Lone Star Open. And this was going to give a chance for me to kind of have something a bit different that I might see. Beasts of Chaos normally not known to be the best, but I wanted to see how well I would perform as a new type of competitive player. So let's take a look and see how this goes. Here we have my list. I'm playing a Kraken Eater Mega Gargant as my general, Kragnos, a War Stomper Mega Gargant, and 2 Man Crushers. And here we have our Darkwalkers list. A lot going on over here. We have 5 different battle line units in there. We got a couple of different monsters, and of course we have the summoning for Beasts of Chaos too, because one of the things that's involved in this list that did a lot of work for it, even though it's not part of the starting army, is he had a cockatrice that he liked summoning in. Low point value, low base size, small base size. It's a monster. It does mortal wounds on shooting. It's a fairly effective weapon, at least, against my list. So let's take a look and see what we got. We have Power Struggle as the battle plan over here. So hold an objective for 2 turns in a row. That's how you'll be able to score it. But you can still contest them, so that way you can get that 1 point for contesting more objectives than your opponent. And of course 2 victory points for each battle tactic you pick up. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first round. I ended up taking priority. I finished deployment first, and I decided I was going to go first. And I chose as my first battle tactic Ferocious Advance. I ended up combining up the Kraken Eater, the War Stomper, and Kragnos all into the center objective. I really do not ever like this tactic. The easier way to do it would probably be the 2 Man Crushers and one of the other 3 units instead, to have kind of a need for a smaller footprint to get all 3 together. It at least gives me the bonus, though, for having the monsters do it. It's just that it encourages me, with an army that already has a low footprint, a small footprint, to be able to affect the board. I have to concentrate more than half of my army into a single place, and I never like that about this battle tactic for this army. But so I go and I concentrate into the third objective in the middle. So after 1 turn, I'm going to have 4 victory points, because I can actually contest 3 objectives, which puts me ahead of the 2 my opponent's contesting, and I'm able to get my battle tactic as well as 1 extra point. I don't score for the objectives yet, because I need to hold them for 2 consecutive turns. Anyway, so middle of the first turn, I have 4, he has nothing yet. So now we get to his second turn, and he's going to try and do Bring It Down as a battle tactic against my Man Crusher that's all alone. And Man Crushers, they go down to a stiff breeze. But the calculation he made was that he was hoping he'd be able to make that 9-inch charge. And it's such a hard number to get, even if you're doing the reroll. Because at best, 50% of the time you're rolling 7, you still need to get that extra 2, and that extra 2 for a lot of people is really hard. We do get some activity, though, because, and this was another reason why I think Ferocious Advance was a very bad decision for me. My opponent was telling me how I put Kragnos kind of out there to be fighting the Jabberslythe, and I never fought a Jabberslythe before, so first time, I think in hindsight, I extended him out forward too far. He's always better as a jungler, coming in as a counterpuncher to anyone that's first trying to engage the Mega Gargants. Over here, though, my opponent could get the first attack on him. We got some other movement going on with his troops, too. We got his Ungors taking a terrain feature over on the left side. We have some movement by a Sigor to help make sure that he maintains control of that top left objective. We got some magic casting, but a lot of this is kind of incidental because the majority of the battle is in the combat phase. So while he gets a couple of chip shots here and there, and they do add up over time, keeping track of those decisions isn't necessarily, it's not the entire point of his army. We're going to get to the end of the first round, and since he fails his charges, he never gets his battle tactic. He, of course, can't score for his objectives that he holds right now, and he only contests 2 objectives at the moment, so he ends up the first round with 0 points. And so now we're going to go to round 2. I actually win the priority roll for round 2, and again, I'm going to go first in round 2. I honestly felt really good at the end of my turn in this battle round, and that really was a mistake on my part, only because, again, the way this battle plan works, especially because it wants you to hold an objective for 2 turns in a row, it forces me to not move my army that much. It already has a very small footprint, and so expansion is difficult when it has to move so slowly. Now, I honestly felt pretty good after this round. I was trying to maneuver my Man Crusher to tag team with my Kraken Eater in case he was going to get charged over on the left side of the board. The War Stomper was going to hold the middle. I honestly was feeling pretty confident with Kragnos over there in the top right corner as well. And I had the one lowly Man Crusher that was in the bottom right. And so at the end of this round, I can actually start scoring the objectives, and I'm going to score 3 points for the objective, the primary, and I'm going to be able to score for my battle tactic as well, because I believe what my battle tactic was broken ranks. I wanted to kill a unit of battle line, and Kragnos was able to do that just fine. So I have Kragnos just kind of hanging out there by himself, my Man Crushers, one Man Crusher hanging out there by itself, and another one that hopefully is going to get protected by the Kraken Eater. Well, we're going to get to Beasts of Chaos turn 2. A lot happens here, and most importantly, this shows kind of the weakness to the Sons of Behemat army against an ambush army like Beasts of Chaos. This battle plan makes it hard for Behemat to kind of get the objectives, and you throw its weight around because it has to either cluster up against a couple of objectives, but it's hard to do that because they're so spread out. And any expansion, because of the fact that you have to wait 2 turns, leaves you open for ambush type counterattacks like this. So not a wide footprint, not a good ability to support itself. Everyone kind of has to survive on their own in Sons of Behemat in this kind of situation. And Beasts of Chaos makes a good show on why ambush armies are probably going to be a problem for Behemat if Behemat has to spread its forces out. If it gets to cluster up and it can support each other, ambush isn't going to work as well. But if Behemat has to spread out and cover large areas of land, then the ambush armies are going to be really effective against them. My opponent was really good at making sure that he didn't draw my Kraken Eater into combat when he was coming after the bottom left objective over here. That Cockatrice showed up, and that Cockatrice with its mortal wound dealing ranged attack, great against Kragnos, but everyone knows that, right? Everything dies to mortal wounds. Kragnos dies to mortal wounds. He had, looks like he was trying to pincer attack the Man Crusher in the bottom right. He didn't get the charge off for both things showing up. And in fact, he probably got the weaker entity with a unit of Bulgors showing up instead to charge into the Man Crusher. Did not get the Gorgon to be able to go off for that. So that's where we have right now in the bottom of the second, where actually he gets to take back his top right objective. I'm still on 3 objectives. He's only going to be able to score for 1 objective this turn, but he's going to be able to get his battle tactic because his battle tactic was going to be monstrous takeover on an objective with his Sigor. That's easy enough to get. And because he brings down Kragnos and a Man-Eater, he's going to get 1 victory point also for killing a monster. So he's going to get 4 victory points by the end of the second round. It's 10-4. He's going to win priority in the priority roll. And he's actually going to choose to go second this time because with Seismic Shift in the GHB, it was actually more beneficial for him to be able to make that choice, because again, the problem I have with the Sons of Behemat is that they don't have the model count to be able to cover a wide space on the board. And already I'm down 2 models now by the end of the second turn. So he's going to go ahead and get rid of that middle objective, so that way the Kraken Eater and the Warstomper can't support each other in holding 2 objectives, thus denying me the ability to easily hold onto 2 victory points by having 2 easily supportable objectives within range of 2 Mega Gargants. Obviously a very good play to be able to do with this, not a no-brainer play to do this, but still, choosing to go second, getting Seismic Shift, getting rid of that middle objective. I had a bad misplay on this round as I was going to send my Warstomper to do a monstrous takeover, and I could not get the charge to get him to engage the Cygor and pile into the objective I needed him to get. I was actually about half an inch away from 6 inches by the time it was all done. The Kraken Eater, of course, was able to hold his own and protect the objective he's on. I've had a bad misplay where I forgot about my Man Crusher on the objective in the bottom right. So he's going to get slain, and I'm going to have a misplay where I'm going to lose a chance at getting 1 extra additional victory point because of that. So by the end of this round, bad round all around for me. I'm new for competitive play, and I get 1 victory point out of this round. Beasts are going to come in the bottom of the round. They're going to move their Gorgon out of the right side and try and attempt to have them come in into the left. We got a unit of Ungor Raiders being summoned up. And now I'm down to 2 models, and so he's going to start picking off the things that he can. The Kraken Eater is actually geared towards defense. He's got the -1 to hit. He's got the 5-up ward. And so he goes after the Warstomper, which is going to be a easier target for him. And true in magic and in shooting, he's going to start chipping away at it in this turn. And he's actually going to be able to bring it down soon enough. But we can already see that he's got the edge in being able to hold objectives. The ambushing of his army allows him to reinforce and support holding multiple objectives. And by the end of the third round, we can see that he's claiming already the majority of the objectives. He's got 2 objectives. And because of my low board presence, I can only have 1. He's going to get 3 points for the primary. He's going to meet his battle tactic as well. And now we see kind of this comeback. And we can see that there's these big point jumps that happen with this, that if you can execute well in a turn, you can get 6 points to be able to close any gaps you get for a slow start in the beginning. And especially also because as he's chipping away at Suns can't get those 6 points as you start taking away its model count. He's going to win priority for the 4th round, and now this time he's actually going to choose and go first. So he's going to just pour into taking care of the Warstomper, and he's going to succeed in that one. Suns is able to at least kind of compete because he keeps sending monsters to try and take out the Kraken Eater, and it's just not happening. Probably in retrospect, he would have been better off just ignoring my Kraken Eater entirely. It can't get everywhere on its own all the time. It can only claim 1 objective. Sending monsters at it are giving me free points to be able to play with, free victory points, and kind of keeping me in the game. And most importantly, too, battle tactics get very hard to start choosing from. once when Suns is down to 1 to 2 kind of models. There's just not going to be things there, especially in bad positions, like the one I'm in here in the bottom left over here. So we're going to get to the end of the 4th round for Beasts of Chaos. They're actually going to get up to 16 victory points now. 5 victory points for the round, 3 from objectives, 2 for their battle tactic. My 4th round, I can't do anything really. I'm just stuck where I'm at, so hold on to my objective. There's a monster next to me. Get rid of the monster. I at least have some battle tactics I can use, and I can be able to stay vaguely competitive. I get Bring It Down as my tactic for this time, and it's honestly a tactic that's sneakily a 4-point tactic, right? Because you're going to use it to kill a monster. You kill a monster with your monster, you're going to get the bonus point for that. And then you're already going to get a bonus point for killing a monster itself. It's a battle tactic that, if you go into it the way that you know you're going to go into it, you're going to get 4 victory points from it. Like, it's just the way that it's designed. I mean, it's a 2-point battle tactic that needs you to kill a monster. You're already going to get a victory point on top of killing the monster from that. So that's 3 victory points you're going to get right there. You just need your own for the 4. So it's at least an interesting tactic in terms of it keeps you competitive, and it's easy to stack up the points with that one. And really, any round that you can get the maximum of the priority, which is going to be 3 points, and then you're going to get Bring It Down, and you try and shoot for the maximum of Bring It Down, that's actually going to be a 7-point turn for you. Anyway, I close out the 4th round with 5 victory points, thankfully for that. And I'm going to be ahead 18 points to 16. And now we're getting kind of close here. The 5th turn, Beast needs to try and bring down the Kraken Eater. And they're actually going to get 2 swings at being able to do it. The problem is that Beast was not rolling very well against this Kraken Eater that is built to be kind of a defensive thing. And you get things like Heroic Recovery, he's -1 to hit, he's got a 5-up save, without a competing monster behind to try and roar at me, except a Cockatrice. I can at least get the command trait to get the command ability to be able to give me +1 save. So it's hard to get through all the defense that this Kraken Eater has had. And then bad rolls is just going to compound it even further. So Beast gets priority. They have to go in all in anyway, and might as well go ahead and try and slay the Warlord for their tactic. Maybe if they try to aim for a different tactic in case they couldn't kill my monster, would have been a better option for them. But they were going to kind of go for win more, and that I think probably was a misplay for them. Slaying the Warlord just would have been a win more battle tactic for them to choose. I'm not sure if there was any others that were better for them, more available, but they try to go for Slay the Warlord. They, of course, don't kill the Kraken Eater. They at least have the primaries for the objective, so they're going to get 3 points off of that by the time they finish their turn. And then we get Sun's last turn. The Cockatrice came in, and the Kraken Eater was able to slay the Cockatrice for an extra victory point. That was another misplay, honestly. He really did not need to get the Cockatrice into the fight the way that he did. I still get to hold 1 objective, and I get to push myself up from 18 points to 23 by getting also my grand strategy involved too. Let's see, it was 18 and 19. I get the 1 for killing the Cockatrice. I get the 1 for the objective. That puts me at 20 to 19. We both get our grand strategies. 23-22. Beast can't quite take it down. And this was obviously a match that mistakes all around for a couple of players, that this is our first time trying to be competitive. And so it's good to be able to kind of look back at this and see where's the mistakes, what we do wrong, what can we do better. And certainly, at least the lessons I learned from this again is Sons of Behemat have a low footprint, making a battle plan like Power Struggle actually rather difficult for them because they can't spread out and be disruptive to an opponent. They need to at least be able to maintain their contesting control of objectives, and especially against an ambush opponent like Beast can be. Stormcast probably going to be the same way. Anyone that can do some kind of summoning, KO. Power Struggle is going to be a hard battle plan for Sons of Behemat to be able to win on because of that, because they can't just walk away from objectives like that, and they need to maintain a continuous control of them that makes it hard to be able to just romp into an objective for one turn, take it, get your primaries, and then you can walk away and reinforce somewhere else on the board. That just is not the way Power Struggle is going to be able to work with this. So, at least in my lessons, Power Struggle, not a great one right now against an ambush army. Ambush armies are pretty good against Sons of Behemat, as Sons of Behemat need to have a wide board presence to be able to compete on the battle plan that they're on. And ambush armies can be able to attack them in multiple directions that, because of Sons of Behemat's low model counts, they can't plug every hole that gets poked into them. You can't set up, honestly, a secure area with Sons of Behemat with the model count like that. So Beasts at least were competitive against them. There were a couple of misplays on all our parts. I had bad positioning misplays. I lost track of one of my units one time. But this seems to be also kind of a theme, right, with 3rd edition, where there's a lot of on-the-table board complexity. The state of the board, you can see it, but there's so much information you need to have in your head that you miss some spots, especially when you're trying to get that play speed up in order to be at a competitive table. We were able to finish this in 90 minutes for all 5 rounds, thankfully, but still not used to that play speed myself. That kind of fed into some of my play, and that made me prone to a couple of mistakes. Anyway, so I'm Nikki. Thank you for watching my battle report. Thank you for taking a look at it. If you have any tips that you want to share too, or any other thoughts, go ahead and share them. I want to thank my Patreon patrons, Evelyn Ducote and Lynette Mahira. Everyone have a good day. Thank you for watching.